Greetings everyone, and Grade here of another Company Heroes 1 replay. Spawn on the north side as a US player, we have Jammeme. We also got some engineers. We do have a barracks spawning out, not support weapon center. Spawn on the south side as the Panzer Elite player, we have Saram. And over here, of course, let's switch over to the Panzer Elite player for the time being, since there's more variety of what build orders. We also just Panzer Grenadiers. No additional Schimwagen. We also got a third engineer deployed out by the US player. And of course, got the barracks just now fully deployed. He may go for an extra Jeep. Panzer Grenadiers advancing forward, being upgraded to G43.
Ready to pass on orders. Grenadiers ready for action.
Fresh squad of Panzer Grenadiers, of course, deployed on out. And we have nothing being pulled out by the barracks just yet. We got, of course, 3 riflemen out in the field, going for the strategic points. And the G43 squad is going aggressive, trying to deny territory. The water is native ground, but of course he's fighting against engineers. Engineers are a range, or not a range unit, the opposite of a range unit.
Ready to respond.
And so the G43 squad here is going to be very, very effective in denying that munitions point and denying the US advance entirely. You will need to get out perhaps a rifleman or a Jeep. I'm guessing that's going to be a Jeep first. Let's see what that is. It is our rifleman. And the engineers coming up north to capture some sectors. Schimwagen is down south capturing up some sectors. And we do got another Panzer Grenadier deployed out in the field. Excuse me a moment as I get a drink. Not like there's much going on. We got the Panzer Grenadiers captured the munitions sector.
Engineers ready to roll.
And we do have these engineers capture this fuel point, but first we're going to lay down some sandbags. So capturing that fuel point will not be in supply at the moment.
Okay, done building.
Munitions point here has been captured, and so far the Panzer Grenadier, the Panzer Elite player, has not captured these points here as well, so there's going to be a lot of free resources for the engineers to claim. You got a second squad of Panzer Grenadiers to support out the Panzer Grenadiers, and likely there could be some more Panzer Grenadiers to support the Panzer Grenadiers. Riflemen are eyeing the munitions point in across that. Is it a river or a creek? Yeah, that's deep enough and wide enough for a river. Though it does have some fjords possible. Just be careful when fjording the river. After all, Oregon Trail taught us you should never really fjord a river. So then again, I think the British in the Market Garden campaign really understand not to use rubber dinghies when fjording, at least. Engineers making their way down south, Schimwagen be capturing that fuel point. And these engineers will find this uncaptured sector. He may be eyeing for this cutoff point here. That's probably the point he should try eyeing. He'll of course deny that income. He realizes this point's not captured, so going for that cutoff point will deny him his opponent some resources. So I suppose since this sector is in supply and is connected to his base sector, so that is not actually a cutoff sector, so that's my bad there. Engineers, oh, got a bit of a lag spike there. My apologies. Not sure what caused that. Probably should have restart my computer before the stream. And G43 squad does force back the engineers. Both these points have been decaptured, which will of course cut off the US player off of all the supply, barring a single munitions point. Engineers and Panzer Grenadiers engaging, and now I've got a flamethrower. Panzer Grenadiers do fall back. Flamethrower is not exactly what he wants to see at this moment. Panzer Grenadier right here will be forced back as well. 2 riflemen is not what he wants to see either. He can leave this sector unsecure for the time being, because this point will get him back in supply. These engineers have claimed these sectors over here as well, getting a nice little tithe of munitions. Rifleman squad advancing down south. Panzer Grenadiers have deployed out a comp group company and going straight for our Panzer command. So we will likely see 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 2-2-2s, I'm guessing. Probably a nice even 12. Yeah, they're just going to build 2-2-2s. That's pretty much standard for most Panzer Elite players. Nobody wants to deploy out Panzer 4Cs. I like seeing things that are not usually deployed out, because it just makes the game a bit more unique. You have, looks like a rifleman squad is getting a handful of bullets into the Schimwagen, but every single one bounced off of that thin aluminum armor. Was shipwagons back then, or vehicles back then, made out of aluminum, or was it sort of metal? Because a lot of days now, a lot of the skin of most vehicles today are some sort of form of plastic or thin aluminum. But then again, they do, as well as my dad mentioned beforehand, that vehicles don't really rust as much anymore because they dip everything in zinc. If you notice nowadays, vehicles today just don't really rust. They have to take a lot of abuse before they start rusting, and that's usually because they get dipped in zinc. Of course, that's according to my old man. What does he know? He's an old man. Ooh, one of these Panzer Grenadier squad is severely wounded, and these old men and young children are now getting some good damage there on the riflemen. 2 squads of riflemen, flamer squad, are advancing forward. This rifle squad is down to 3 models, needs to fall back, may get fully wiped. It's prone to being wiped right here, but not being focused down. 222 is facing forward. Oh, I think he mass retreat by accident. I think that was a misclick. I heard that rifleman squad being wiped out from the announcer. Flamer engineer may go down as well. Everyone makes that mistake. Select everything and mass retreat. Shimvagen may go down as a consolation prize.
Enemy unit
And the flamer engineer does actually escape on out of there. 2 G43 squads does fall back for the wounded squad. He may have base healing. No, he does not have base healing. Though I see something being built there that may be base healing. Oh, Shimvagen then base healing. 2 now getting some great damage there on that engineer, ripping him apart. And there goes the engineer. With a few things more effective than the US 50 cal. A automatic 20mm cannon. Shimvagen now receiving a bit of fire from this rifleman squad. You have now the... what's it called? The Panzer Support Command output down the field. Or being built right now. G43 squad does fall back. There's 3 squads of riflemen overrunning these Panzer Grenadiers. Defensive operation has not been fully built, and it's currently 4 Panzer Grenadiers on the field. You see 5, and there is a nice landmine detonation from the Panzer Grenadiers on the retreat path, which also blew up its own rifleman squad, really. Oh, sure, go right ahead. Go ahead and put a link into the Rumble chat. Though do note as well, after this replay, there's already a user-submitted replay that I will go ahead and cover.
Grenadiers reinforced. Our rifles are cold. Let's go. Schwimmwagen, ready for a dip.
Munitions point being captured on up. But you got these Panzer Grenadiers pushing their way forward. Fully healed up. And now I do have a motor pool deployed out on the field. I think I see something deployed out. Is maybe an AT gun? It is a Greyhound.
Alright, men, time for the fight.
Triage center being deployed on out. There's a lot of rifle. This rifleman squad needs a lot of blood transfusions. At that point, I think they may be just bleeding out. Of course, that's not exactly a thing in this game. Closest thing to quote-unquote bleed out is probably being lit on fire. Yeah, probably being lit on fire. 50 cal has been deployed out first, then the armor skirts. Most people usually go for armor skirts first. Yep, I'll go ahead and take a look at that replay once this replay gets finished. Oh, actually, first I'll cover another replay that a user submitted, then I'll take a look at that one. But I'll make sure to download that beforehand before I forget. Panzer Grenadiers are pushing way forward, does pin down the engineer squad. Engineers with another flamer squad is advancing forward. A lot of fire in this region. Does pin down the other flamer squad. Greyhound's advancing forward, trying to get some rounds into that armored car. Panzer Grenadiers with the Panzer Trucks do get forced back, and with those wipe out one of the Panzer Truck squad and drop the Panzer Truck. That'd be a great thing for the riflemen to pick up. Greyhound's advancing forward, trying to get some good rounds into that 222. Does get some good hits as well onto it. All Panzer Grenadier squads fall back. This G43 squad, however, may get wiped out. It does get gunned down by the 50 cal. Schwimmwagen getting this cutoff point. And not really a cutoff, but does cut off the munitions. Greyhound having trouble, not like the most amphibious thing. Like I said, you should really avoid fjording in general. So Shimvagen's going to be backing on off up north, trying to avoid any additional Greyhound fire. Do not see any doctrine select just yet. Panzer advancing forward. Both players' Panzer are advancing forward, but the Rifleman Panzer squad does fall back. Oh, finds another landmine right there with the 222. Gets a destroyed engine crit there. Times we wish he had that Panzer up and going. Looks like these Panzer are going to make some quote-unquote emergency repairs. Bog is making his way down south. We'll potentially find a Minesweeper squad. The Minesweeper is not exactly the deadliest squad. Panzer doesn't connect. Other squads repairing up the armored car, trying to keep it alive. Panzer push on forward, trying to get another shot. Should be able. Nope, doesn't get off another shot. He does get a shot there on the Greyhound now. The Greyhound will go down to the next direct hit. Essentially, the Ultimate gets a death crit as well. And now the armored car has its engine repaired and backing it off to safety. Schimwagen headed to the fuel point. Minesweeper squad can recapture the munitions point. We've got these forces getting some good damage there on the Rifleman squad.
What's next?
Schimwagen is receiving some automatic weapons fire, and the engineers are receiving better automatic weapons fire. Does drop actually 2 models right there, but the engineer squad will likely escape on out of there. Do not have an M1 AT gun deployed out in the field, and still, so far, an unknown doctrine. Rifleman squad advancing forward. Panzer firing good shot there, getting good hit. And now we've got the Greyhound advancing forward. Does fire some rounds there. And these Panzergrenadiers are backing on off, trying to get some much needed repairs in that armored car. But 4 squads there, they should be repaired up in no time. But won't be able to do much contesting with the M1 AT gun in the region. Does fall back now again. Greyhound does see some Panzer fire. M1 AT gun trying to set up on the high ground. 2 Panzer may hit. That should see one of the Greyhound there. And now the Panzer squads may need to fall back, receive a bit too much fire. You may be trying to beat with the Greyhound, and all those squads do fall back now. Greyhound making its way down south.
Jaeger Command is now available to aid our worthy cause.
Jaeger Command has boiled on out. That's support command, so he's likely going for that point to get that research. He already has Panzer research, so that will allow him to get his Panther research, and he will likely go for his Panthers. We got some more U.S. landmines. And that is being laid down by the engineer and not by the rifleman. So that's not a sign of doctrinal lock-in. After that point as well, right now the VPs are in favor of the U.S. player, or the Pens Elite player by a small margin. Schimwagen captured the central VP, and we've got these engineers heading up to the left VP. Panzergrenadiers making their advance once again.
Panzer, we're losing a fuel depot to the enemy.
And there's a Panther research, and he does have 600 manpower, so he's saving up for his Panthers.
Ready for orders.
So far, no doctrinal selection for both, or at least for this player. Does find a landmine there, knocking out both the Panzer squads. That's actually very, very important. Forcing both those back means his opponent now can push forward with his Greyhound with a bit more of impunity. Let's see if there's any doctrinal lock-in for the US player. Oh, Rangers. And he's went straight for Rangers, not for the offensive power shoot. We may see some Rangers deployed out in the field sooner rather than later. Hopefully we do. He does have plenty of manpower for them. Schimwagen captured the munitions point now. M1 AT gun finds the Schimwagen and stops him from capturing the point. The US player has a very, very good reserve of manpower. Let's switch back to the translate player since we have an unknown doctrine selection. He has an even larger manpower reserve, but we all know what he's going for. 2-2 could perhaps just sort of stick around this area to help keep this area secure away from any engineers or any flanking squad. Panzer Grenadiers getting some damage there on the rifle squad. They got the bar research as well. We could just have perhaps see a medic station. There's some good. There's probably a good spot here for a medic station.
G43 upgrade complete.
Squad G43s, and do have his 2 Panthers now in the field.
Repairs completed. Doesn't look too bad.
And now we do also have some Rangers with the Thompson upgrade making their advance. If he uses suppressive fire ability on the Rangers, they can just fire it up and escape suppression. Greyhounds advance forward, Rifleman with a Panzer. You may have access to sticky bombs. It's probably about this time we should access sticky bombs. AT guns set up on a bad angle. And now the Rangers advancing forward. A bazooka model has gone down, so there goes the Thompson model there. Let's get some damage there on the Rangers. Have one bazooka up and going. No sticky bomb there. AT gun set up at a good angle. But should hold back these Panthers for the time being. One Panther is a little bit wounded. Nothing too significant. 2-2 is much more wounded there. And now the Thompson Ranger squad does fall back. AT gun's not setting on up. Now is a good time for the AT gun to set up. Should be able to get some side and rear armor hits from this angle. So now the 2-2 is advancing forward, and the M1 AT gun is just going to fall back entirely. Greyhound trying to push forward, trying to deal with that 2-2. Does see a good hit there by the AT gun, and the AT gun is now one model with death damage right there. There goes the 2-2. The AT gun does go down. Rangers, hopefully they get their bazookas up and running soon. Greyhound does receive a good hit there. Machine gun receiving a bit of fire. Ranger does have one bazooka up and running. He could fire with it. He's out of range of reinforcements. Patrick squad and bazooka can perhaps get some hits there onto those Panthers. Panzer Grenadiers receive a bit too much fire there, and now the Flame Engineers in the mix as well, getting some great AoE damage. Some of these forces are getting whittled down, the Minesweeper squad included. I think he went for that Minesweeper squad with his engineers because since he saw the Schimwagen, he's worried about any like incendiary traps, landmines, things of that sort. Howdy. Machine gun placement, warding away a Panther, clearly. Guess all the machine gun placements work. AT gun set up on the river bank, trying to find some shots there. Panther escaped from the high ground. This one does fall back in the other direction. Severely wounded, so these Panthers will need a bit of time to repair. Switch over to the US player. Let's see what we have out at the moment. So just one Ranger squad. He may be going straight for off-map combat group. We do have, looks like the supply yard. I think it's level 1 production. Could be level 2 production. It's a good reserve of fuel. Yeah, I think that's level 1 production based on looking at the structure. Offensive operations, so he's not going for the off-map combat group side now. Now he's going for the M2 or at least off-map power shoots. Yep, I'll take a look at that once this replay is done. AT gun's now firing away, getting some damage there onto the Panthers. Or Panther. And good bounces there, but the deflection damage still does some good work. Another squad of Rangers now deployed on the field, so these 2 squads of Rangers immediately being upgraded for Thompsons.
Okay, done building.
I recommend if you go for Rangers, if you want in them infantry, then go for Thompsons. But if you want it just for anti-vehicle, generally don't go for the Thompsons, so the bazookas will be passed around across the squad.
Rifle squad, all eyes and ears.
Rangers, here are your new weapons.
2 Thompson Rangers now deployed on the field.
Engineer ready
One
to
rifle,
wait.
one of these engineers also veteran C1. Panther getting some much needed repairs. Switch over the Panzer Elite player. Go to reserve resources, and he definitely selected a doctrine right there. So probably Scorched Earth. Ooh, there's gonna be a massive crush here, but AT gun, no sticky bombs looks like. Bazookas does get some hits there as well. AT gun set on up. Got a flank here of the riflemen and the rangers. Riflemen getting hit, and we do have the sticky bomb research there. I saw him throw, but I was unable to get it thrown off. Now here comes the Thompson Rangers ripping apart these Panzer Grenadiers. This Panzer Ranger that has also dropped a bazooka model. So there's 3 bazookas going to be firing against that Panther. Got another Panther, or no, that's 18 gun and Greyhound advancing forward. If so, 2 bazookas up and going on this Ranger. He's going to use fired up, trying to close the distance. Perhaps should have done that a little bit sooner. Dr. Irving setting on up. 1 bazooka does roll bounce there, and does decide to fall back with both these squads. 2 AT guns now deployed on the field. And the fact that so many VPs consumed, or CPs consumed, let's see now. Definitely not Luftwaffe ground forces because of the usage of either path will bring in a call-in ability. So it could be either Scorched Earth or Tank Hunter. And I can't tell based on the number of Panther trucks to see if it's a Tank Hunter. Tank Hunter does not make any sense. He's not facing against a lot of tanks. It has to be Scorched Earth, right? Schimwagens can't booby trap. We got a US landmine there, very nice. Panzer Grenadiers will find the landmine, which actually is good for the Panther. Though these guys are very, very stacked up. Ooh! That was a really good landmine there. So much damage. Stalled out the attack. Panther severely wounded as well. Panther over here, patrolling around. Getting a bit lucky not finding any landmines. He will be not very lucky very shortly. He does get engine crit there as well. AT gun set up on a pretty good angle. Could be set up on a pretty good angle there. Got a lot of fire. Need to make sure to set up a... Oh, no, that's a horrible angle. Go forward. He's going to retreat back. There's no way that he was going to push forward. Good bounce there. Finds another landmine there. Just getting damage. No additional crits. Rifleman going for a crit. I think that's another AT gun firing from the high ground. Maybe that's... Maybe not. Got a pen there as well. No sticky bomb from the rifleman. Good bounce there. And looks like the rifle squad may get forced back. Greyhound advancing forward. Rifleman squad advancing forward. We do have the Panthers barely escaping out of there. These are not Rangers, so they can't fire it up. But the Rifleman with the Panther can quickly kill off that Panther. Go for it. Go for it. Can perhaps get some sticky bombs off as well. It does get the kill there on the Panther. AT gun does push forward. And where did the other... There's the other Panther receiving AT gun shots, so somehow the AT gun got over here. The other AT gun at least. Rifleman squad needs to make sure to protect that AT gun. Panther does get directed there on the gun itself. Panther as well. Crit is there on the other Panther. Still has a damage and crit. Rifleman, I don't believe they have grenade research. But Flame Engineers trying to burn some guys alive on the water. There's smoke on the water. Panther received quite a bit of damage there. Panzer Grenadiers advancing forward. Panther could potentially be taken out by the Bet 2 Greyhound. And the Panzer Grenadier squad here does fall back. AT gun advancing forward. Finds a bounce there. That Panther's 1 pen away from death. Even closer to death now. Thompson's here. Thompson Rangers. Let's get some damage there on these forces.
We have lost a vehicle.
And looks like the Panther... No, that's a Schimwagen that went down. Schimwagen went down to the Greyhound. And main gun destroyed crit. Panther's just being a little bit stubborn there. Stubborn. And now do have the Hummel being deployed on out. Does roll a bounce there. Panther's still alive. Greyhound getting some good damage there. Thompson Rangers could advance forward. They are do see suppressive fire there. I'm not sure if Fired Up is on cooldown or not. Now the Thompson Rangers now advancing forward. Panzer Grenadiers receive quite a bit of fire. AT gun does take out the Panther finally, and these Panzer Grenadiers do fall back.
I've lost the Panzer.
And these Thompsons will do some great damage on the retreat. Maybe wipe out this Panzer squad. Hummel barrage nails something. Panzer does get dropped there. Rangers cannot pick it up, but another rifleman squad can pick it up. Looks like the Rangers dropped a couple models there from the Hummel barrage.
In the perimeter. Our base is under attack.
A couple rounds there onto the Panzer Support Command.
Our forward supply lines are broken.
Even if the engineers pick up that bazooka, was our rifleman squad advancing forward, trying to pick up that bazooka and then retreat back. Okay, that was his own AT gun being scuttled. Oops. We got Shimwagen kept at the center of the map, and the rifleman squad does pick up that Panther strike, but does drop a bar in his life.
The enemy is stealing a victory point from beneath our noses.
So now there's a spare bar there, picked up by a Panzer truck squad.
The enemy has moved against one of Germany's victory points.
Thompson Rangers does receive a bit of fire there. There's a bit too many squads here, but the rifleman squad could stop decapturing that point and engage the Panzer Grenadiers. Schirmwagen pushed away forward. The Hummel's here. The 222 is dead. Can't remember when that went down, but either way, it is fully dead. And looks like the Schirmwagen does spot that landmine. Start focusing down the landmine. Does get a penetrating bullet, and does blow it up now. Five Panzer Grenadiers, one Hummel. Oh, M2 now raining on in. And that round will range short. One good hit could have done a lot of damage. These Panzer Grenadiers are just blobbing everywhere. So the off-map howitzer, or the on-map howitzer, could be very effective versus blobs. He also knows about the Hummel. He could potentially transition to something in the armor tank depot. He has plenty of fuel, so he could go for a Sherman tank or even a crocodile. US landmine right here. He may find it, but if this G43 squad a bit in advance, he will find it with one squad, not his entire army like he did last time. And now we do have some MP44s, some STG-44s deployed on out. The VPs are still in favor of the Panzer Lead player, 462-21, and he does have the VP advantage still. Riflemen and Rangers advancing forward. There's a little bit too much force here. The Rangers could throw a frag. This army's been a bit of a blob. So throwing the frag not only will either A, do a lot of damage, or B, prevent him from really fighting. Oh, and he's going to retreat through the barrage, getting a direct hit there, getting 4 models, or 5 models. Very nice. Now Ranger's going to be, and Greyhound may pursue that Schirmwagen. Schirmwagen does go down. Does deploy another Hummel. Over here, we do have 700 manpower. He has the M2 and the off-map power to shoot. Here comes a Hummel barrage. So next up is the off-map combat group, which should be pretty close in the VPs for, or command points for. Was that 4 or 5? I think it was just 4.
Grenades have arrived.
You guys have enough manpower to call it in as well. Mark II grenades deployed on the field. That's actually not bad, seeing how much his opponent's blobbing. Either A, his opponent dodges it, reducing his damage output, or B, eats the frag and has half his army get blown up. Over here, Flame Engineer does not deploy a landmine there. Some others thought he deployed a landmine there.
Rangers ready. 105 ready.
We may see this 105 firing on this group soon.
Artillery reporting.
Maybe not. This seems like a good time for the howitzer to start firing. It could be on cooldown.
Fixed up and ready to go.
Still nothing.
And that's the ball game. Construction finished. Rifle squad has the objective.
How do you call the vehicle from Panzer Elite? Which vehicle are you talking about?
Base is taking fire.
You're talking about the Hummel?
Yes, sir.
We got a barrage here, trying to barrage the M2 howitzer. Does find a landmine there with his Panzer Grenadier. Does he have 4-man squad? Nope, he does not have 4-man squad. There's actually another squad there, one drop model. Constant Ranger says hello to this Panzer Grenadier. That's the Panzer Strike +1 bar. Another Ranger squad pushes way forward as well, able to get some great damage on these Panzer Grenadiers. And he will potentially lose a Panzer Strike squad. Those lose the Panzer Strike squad. And he may lose some more of these G43 squads. And he does wipe out one of those squads now. The other one's being pursued. Which died next to the river? Oh, the river? Talking about Schimwagen? Ah, you're talking. The Schimwagen is a substitute you can bring in other than for the Kettengrad. It's one of the alternates. You have the Ranger squad advancing forward, trying to get some damage onto these structures. Got the M2 barrage raining on in, and looks like he's actually backed out of the game. So that's going to be the end of the replay. Very good use of seeing Rangers. You don't really see Rangers all too often, so I always like seeing them. And that is the end of the replay. This is Anagram saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.